So if you're someone that follows different business channels or leaders and you want to learn about growing your business, you've probably heard people say things like this before. They've probably said, oh, I've built a 6-figure business or a 7-figure business, or I've built $1 million business. What does that even mean? They're trying to use it to get you to listen to them and give authority. But what actually is $1 million business? And what is $1 million music school? Does it actually exist? Are there any in the world? Could you build one? We're going to cover some of those topics. I'm going to talk to you about that information that people spout off to try and impress you, and let's talk about what it really means and whether you should be impressed or not right after this. Alright, so before we get into it, make sure you like or subscribe this video, depending where you're watching it. It helps out the channel and also helps get great videos in front of you again that are going to help you grow your music teaching business, make more money, and also impact more people through music, which is awesome. What could be better than that? Let's get straight into this. The reason I'm making this video is I just see all the time when I scroll through Facebook or Instagram, people promoting different business products, and they're saying, I've built a 7-figure business, or I own $1 million business. I just thought, there's a lot of people trying to justify their authority through that, and sometimes that is a really amazing, incredible thing and worth taking note of. Sometimes it's not. But the most important thing is that when people do that, they're not actually telling you what they mean by $1 million business. So I want to give you 4 different definitions they could mean, and to help you become a bit more savvy about how you think about business. What is $1 million business? What's $1 million music school? Does it exist? Could you build one? And this is just going to help you be a bit more street smart so you don't get sucked in by vanity metrics. So let's get into it. We'll go quick today. I'll give you 4 different definitions of what people do mean. But of course, the first thing, if you're talking to someone, you can just ask them, what do you mean by that? What do you mean you've got $1 million business? Here's some things they might mean. Number 1, they might mean that they've actually just done $1 million revenue since they started their business to today. They've done $1 million revenue. And, that's cool. That's a nice milestone. That was a fun one to celebrate when we passed it. You may have even already passed it and not even checked. So you can go back to your accounting software, find the first date that you started trading, find today, set the parameters there, see how much it says that you've brought in if you've had it tracked since the beginning. Maybe you've passed $1 million, you just didn't know about it. That's not the most impressive number, right? Someone could be teaching music for 20 years, just earning, $50,000 a year, and they could say, yeah, I've got $1 million business, if that's their definition. Not very exciting or anything to write a blog about. So that could be the first thing people mean. Number 2, they could mean that they have generated $1 million revenue per year. That's a pretty cool milestone. I think that's pretty impressive if you generate $1 million a year. What's more impressive is if you have profit on that, because you can generate $1 million and spend $1 million, which is not that impressive. But I remember when we passed $1 million a year, that was a really exciting milestone. And it did take us a long time because we're in a low-priced industry. So you're doing music lessons. It's not like you're building a house where it costs you $300,000-400,000 to build a house, and you just got to build a couple each year, and you've done over $1 million revenue. And so that is not going to be impressive for their industry. For music lessons, it is. And so that could be what people mean. They've done $1 million revenue per year. I don't know exactly how long it took us. I should have checked. I would say at least 7 years to get there. You might be able to do it faster. So just quickly before we move on to the third point, if you want to get help with growing your income, getting a bigger teaching business, grab some free resources I've put down below. We've got some popular ones, which are 136 ways to attract students is one of our most popular downloads. Grab that free, file that away for ideas for the future. Also, I've done a free masterclass on how I grew my school from 30 to 2,000 students, and some of the best lessons and tips and tricks and things that I would do again if I had to do it all over again. Thank goodness I don't, but you can really learn from them, shortcuts and mistakes. So grab those free down below. Now let's talk about the third definition. Third definition could just mean that they are, well, not just, this is where we get more impressive. Could mean that they actually generate $1 million profit per year. And so after all their expenses are paid, including their own salary, they've actually generated $1 million profit. Maybe that's what people mean sometimes, and maybe that's what they mean by a 7-figure business or $1 million business. That I never got to. That would be great if I could earn $1 million profit a year. Honestly, I never got there. If you ever hear me say I've got $1 million business, I don't mean that. So again, will the people that you're listening to tell you that? You got to ask. I do have friends that have $1 million businesses. Even my own mastermind, Scott, he's got like a bass school teaching people bass online, Scott's bass lessons, and he's got like 28,000 students or something insane. And so the $1 million profit a year, that happened ages ago for him. So it is possible to do it with music. But again, is that what people mean when they say they have $1 million business? To be honest, most music teachers, when they come into my world and we help fix their businesses and scale them in our Build a Music School program, the BAM squad, most people aren't even profitable at all when they arrive. So that means that they might be paying themselves money, but the business is not profitable because they barely pay themselves sometimes. So that's the first thing we have to fix. We have to get them paid. And then the net profit that's left after they're paid and all the expenses, that's kind of what the business is worth. So that's where the business gets profitable. So you want to be targeting for at least 5 to 15% just to get started after you've been paid a salary. Remember, a worker's worth their wage. That includes you. And so you are not the business. It's the business and you are separate, and the business needs to pay you money because you work really hard. And when you get staff, it's now you've got the business, you and the staff. And so everyone needs to be paid, and it's the business's responsibility to make sure you're paid. So have a look at your numbers. And if you are not getting profitable, you definitely want to take the cash flow challenge that we've set up in our Build a Music School program. This will sort all your financial stuff out. You'll feel in full control of all the finances. You'll see everything beautifully graphed in a way that you can understand across this amazing report where you just punch in your basic numbers each month. It takes you 10-15 minutes, and then boom, everything's just beautifully laid out in plain English so you can visually see what's happening, all your targets, you see how you're tracking, and you just look at that and it just removes all the stress, anxiety, the uncertainty of what's really happening. It's amazing. So you can actually grab that free down below. Grab a free 7-day trial to our Build a Music School program. Hopefully you'll stick around afterwards because there's like tens and tens of thousands of dollars worth of resources and tools, and our membership is so affordable. But if you want to just grab that resource, get stuck in, grab it with a free trial. You only get a free trial once, so use it wisely if you're gonna do that, but we want to help you regardless. Let's move on to the fourth thing. Fourth thing is that people might mean that they could sell their business for $1 million. I remember asking my accountant, I said, what do you think when someone says $1 million business? He says, oh, it's a business that could be sold for $1 million. Now that's just one accountant of many, but that was the first thing he went to. He didn't think, oh, it's $1 million revenue total or per year. He said, oh, it means you can sell your business for $1 million. If you sold it tomorrow, you'd have $1 million in the bank. Maybe that's what people mean when they say that. We've just looked at 4 different definitions. So all-time revenue $1 million, revenue of $1 million per year, net profit of $1 million, could sell it for $1 million. Those are 4 different things. So when you hear people say, oh, I got $1 million business, or I've built a 6-figure business or a 7-figure business, ask them what they mean and be aware that they're probably not talking about number 3 and 4, which are the real impressive ones. Number 2, I think it's impressive. I passed that, but it's not like I could sell my music school for $1 million. Not going to lie to you in that way. So watch out for people. Be savvy. Be street smart. Don't get sucked in by vanity metrics. And ultimately, focus on building your business so it's not only really big and exciting and changes lots of lives, but it's also profitable. And so again, I've linked you a bunch of tools that are going to help you ensure that no matter what level you're at, whether you're teaching at home, hiring your first team member, or running a full-on commercial site or multiple sites, you want to make sure it's profitable, and you've got a whole bunch of tools that are going to help you get there a lot faster. So I hope you enjoyed this video, something different, something that's just going to be interesting for you to think about and give you some goals around what sort of revenue should I aim for this year. And when you pass $1 million, let me know. Be really cool to celebrate with you. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you in the next one. Remember to like and subscribe.